The only thing you see in this world is the outcome of your idea about it. Peace, like everything you seek, is a creation which is greater than, but certainly begins with, your mentality and your mindset. For what you think must be aligned with what you speak and ultimately how you act. That is identity. So the creation of peace follows creation in all forms, which is a principle of trinities. I like to focus on subconscious, conscious, superconscious, but it could be mind, heart, soul, ego, superego, energy, matter, antimatter, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So if it is peace you seek, then how you think must be how you speak, must lead to you performing the deeds that create your possible peace. So let's talk through this from those angles. I believe we are experiencing the greatest crisis of individual self imaginable, as there has never been a time where we as individuals have been so unidentifiably identifiable, insistent as a culture of associating ourselves with labels of possession and reflections of material proportions. Yes, there is so much to be grateful for, yet why do we seem to struggle with finding peace? Peace to such a degree in which it implies tranquility and serenity, as already mentioned, but worth digging into. The reality is, the only thing you see in this world is the outcome of your idea about it. Think about it. So the first question I want to tackle is, what is your idea of your world? And if the answer aligns or begins with value-based judgment of self, something to the effect of defining all you are and all you've done with a judgment of good or bad, right or wrong, heaven or hell, I would argue that doing so and choosing to apply those value-based judgment distorts the power of peace and will continue to deliver you the same outcomes you have today. For peace to me starts with acceptance. And you must firstly accept that no condition is permanent. Nothing stays the same or static. It just is. Therefore, peace begins with you accepting all, and I mean accepting all, regardless of current and future outcomes. It has nothing to do with cultural or self-perceptions of right or wrong, left or right, up or down, good or bad. You have arrived, however you've arrived, to this moment. And now peace to me is accepting of all, inclusive of all that was, all that isn't, and all that it still might be, but consciously choosing the best. If for nothing else, gratitude for continued life is a great starting point. So again, no labels, no judgments, just the reality of what is or what is not. It doesn't have to be for you. It doesn't have to be your choice. It doesn't have to be your ideal. It could be the antithesis of what you believe life should be about. Peace is just knowing it just is. So now ask yourself, what is your idea of your current life moving forward? And as I already stated, it is not enough to just think peace. You must also then speak peace. The question here then is twofold. One, how do you interact socially? And second, how do you affirm yourself, which is self-talk? Before I make an attempt to answer those, let me highlight the importance of words based on an analogy I read from the book Conversations with God, crazy book. Words are thoughts expressed. Expressed thoughts are ideas formed. Ideas are energies that come together. Energies are forces released. Chew on that for a bit as it comes down to this. Words are a higher vibrational frequency than thought, which then transmits what you think you believe to the universe, which assists in the production of the outcomes of your idea about it, right back to where we started. And I believe we get super stuck on the speaking and the deeding aspect, which I'll cover the deeding shortly. But speaking has a lot to do with our ability to come to peace. We have a behavioral tendency to ensure we are prioritizing telling people what we think they want to hear, both about ourselves and themselves, or we tend to give strong opinions on what we believe people should or shouldn't do. And those are usually the people with those strong opinions that start with, oh, I like to tell it like it is. But ultimately, we advise people on what we think they should do based on how we feel about it, which is a form of advising on what we think they should do, because secretly, we know we should be doing the same thing, yet we never take our own advice. Kind of like an overweight husband telling his overweight wife she should lose weight, or the person who can't get their relationships and finances in order telling you should get your relationships and finances in order. Doing that, or ultimately telling them what we think they want to hear for whatever misguided rationale, likely based again on value judgments we just touched on earlier. When we do this, we release a higher vibrational creation frequency through words at a lower vibrational request of outcomes, leading to less peace in our ideas about the world. How? Because this is lying to yourself, which is spineless, timid, weak, soft, and truthless speaking. Cliche would be become do as I do, not as I say, not do as I say, not as I do. Stay away from that behavior. Self-talk. We demean our peace by subconsciously running towards constant self-criticism and self-judgment. When you lack peace, your self-value system is way off. Mostly because, you should be sensing a theme here, you are focused again on value-based judgments. If you insist on talking about yourself through what you like or dislike about yourself, then you lose what it actually is. And that is an immediate deviation from peace. You need only to be. Your thoughts are your thoughts, and you're free to do with them what you please. But take control of your inner dialogue and center it around peace. Create a process where you come to consciousness anytime you are not peaceful in your talk, and redirect it. Substitute less peaceful, conflicting thoughts for peaceful ones. This is not to suggest you should ignore or even troubleshoot some of the really dark ones, but why walk around speaking in a lower frequency about yourself? I don't get that. You can be whoever you want to be in your own mind, and we might as well talk with the power of peace, even if you somehow think it's not true. And this leads to the deeds of peace, which is where a lot of us deviate from our power of peace. Let me lead with this as it pertains to deeds. There is sacrifice for self, and there is sacrifice of self. And those are two huge delineations and distinctions. The biggest peace-bringing things are your deeds. Deeds are the final piece of creation. The deed is the reward. So I am mindful of what deeds I subscribe to by always ensuring I don't sacrifice myself in the process. I don't help, assist, or volunteer to receive anything of value other than it brings me peace to do the deed. I don't need a thank you, gas money, or even your gratitude. Eye for an eye does not apply. I do it because the reward is in doing it. That is peace. We sacrifice ourselves and our peace by doing deeds, or when doing deeds and expecting a reward, inclusive of acceptance. Or if I do this for them, they'll like me more and I'll prove my value. No. I prove my value by saying no when I don't want to. You don't like it? Don't fuck with me. It's not personal. That's why I'm careful who I choose as friends. I don't want you going through a crisis thinking you can call me or count on me, especially when you might really be needing someone. and I know I won't be there. I'm not picking up your phone call or opening my door to just anyone and everyone. That's just fate to me. People who call me know they can and should be calling me. People who don't call me know they should not be calling me. And just imagine the peace that brings. Because I needn't waste time worrying if I'm going to miss something I think I shouldn't miss. No. No. I don't miss things I shouldn't miss because I don't sacrifice my peace by compromising myself with unnecessary deeds for clout. I don't care what it looks like. And to me, that's also a form of sacrificing for self. Now, trust me, I care deeply, just like you, about my reputation, but I need not worry about your perception of me if you don't apply. I can't let that affect me. That's crazy. But yes, in doing that, I acknowledge that comes with people not liking me as much or caring to talk to me or inviting me to their social parties. I consciously accept that those are the outcomes that come with self-sacrifice versus sacrificing myself. I'll say this as well when it comes to choosing your deeds wisely. Being always available loses its effect also. If you're there for everyone, you're diluting your power. But aside from diluting your power to bring peace through the deed, when you dilute yourself, you run the risk of ignoring the person or people you shouldn't be ignoring because you've already sacrificed yourself for a low return disguised as a social reward. And now you're not peaceful to whom you should be peaceful with, including yourself. So when your intimate peace bubble is compromised, your inner peace is compromised because now your holistic version of peace is compromised. All because you're busy being fake peace with the bubble outside. Think about it. Here's my final note on the deeds of peace. I don't sacrifice how I feel about myself physically. I sacrifice to take care of myself physically. I don't sacrifice myself to ignorance of what I don't know. I sacrifice to educate myself, and I take risks. I don't sacrifice myself to a faithless relationship with God. I sacrifice to pray and meditate as often as possible, including the thought or the prayer of thought. Peace is, of course, hard for us. And when you don't know where you're going, it's counterproductive to assume that you know how to get there. But certainly deciding to remain loyal and pay homage to fear will never bring you peace. Fear derived mostly through social consciousness and the unidentifiable identifiables that create division, leading to prolonged, protracted, and protested visions. So, I challenge you to create a tolerance of peace because you can't treat peace like a sometimes thing. Otherwise, you'll distort your soul. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Stay rich.